Hello everyone. In my previous session, you might have seen this XSD, XML, JSON, YML. These are the basic information which I have passed in previous session. Today in this session, I will continue further. Today, what we will do, I will show you some sample program which is basically is going to help you to connect to the database. These are, these are all practical based, and this is practical based approach to the programming language. If you want to develop your skill set to connect to database, your skill sets in programming using different framework, then my video sessions are very helpful. The way or the path I'm taking, it will go to full stack development. It will end in the full stack development. At least you will have one particular page displaying some information from the database, right? So today, I will connect to MySQL database, which I already installed. I have not taken any video for that. I just installed it, and it's very simple to install MySQL database. And you can do just, I will show you what are the files you need and where you can download, and then you start installing it, right? Let me share my screen. So this video is specially for the pass out students, those who are not having that much technically strong or that much efficient to program or code, or they are efficient but they don't know Java technology or Java framework. If you are really interested to work in Java technology and Java framework, Java associated stuff, look into my video. You will learn, and you will grow. Right. So see, first what you need to do, you need to for this today's thing, you need to install MySQL. MySQL. Go to your browser. You can go to browser, and then what you can do, you can download MySQL. MySQL download, right? Click on MySQL download. If you are watching my screen, I'm showing that it's just like click on next button, and then you go ahead. Right? You go to MySQL. See here there are so many directory. These so many things you'll see here. Yes, simply you can go to download now Enterprise Edition for Developer. Right? You can click this. You can download. And also, if you want to download something from archive, you can go to archive always, and you can download from there. So now let's click on this. Not this one, not required. But I did. I clicked on from here. So click here, MySQL, right? MySQL download, MySQL Enterprise cluster. Try download from MySQL support. Try download from MySQL developer. Download all this. You are there. Community GPU, learn more. The download, which is the option here. I download. Hold on. Here you go. Yeah. You see here you have for Linux, Mac, so Mac OS, Windows, right? Search in Google browser, you can find the download options. Go here, click the download option and click this window Winx 64 bundle zip. Right after downloading it, you just what you do once the file is downloaded. This is what I have downloaded. My this if you see this is the folder. Where is the folder one here? Yeah. Let me maximize it. Yes. If you see, this is MySQL. This is MySQL, which version I downloaded. Yeah, you see here MySQL 9.2.0 Win64 bundle.zip. This zip file I downloaded, and I've exported this zip file, unarchived it. This zip file I unzipped it. It comes here. right? In this, you will see so many more, this Jeff has just explored this MySQL commercial 9.2.0 Win64. For you, it will be your version. MySQL commercial 9.3, 9.4, whatever it is, right? Explore it and then go inside this, what will happen? You will find here inside this bin folder MySQL.exe, right? You can start it. If you start, if you have any issue, hold on 1 second. Yes. Yes. So basically what you will do, you have to click on MySQL configurator.exe. You click on this MySQL configurator.exe. It will, it will ask you to allow, do you want to allow this app to make changes on to your device? You may not be able to see the screen, but once you click on yes, what will happen? It will pop up another screen. Another window will come. Just I will not install since I have installed it. Let that window comes. I will show you. I'm just waiting for the windows. Yeah. So it came, right? This window, MySQL configured, this windows came. Once you do this, this window will come. You just to do next, 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 and finish it, right? This window will come. You just need to do next, next, and finish it. For me, I've already installed it, so I'm not going to do. See, if you see in the left hand side, MySQL configurator, MySQL server 9.2.0, type and network. So first will come as type and network. Then the next screen will be accounts and roles. Basically, what will happen? It will ask you to have one user called root, and if you want, you can create one more user. So give the password for the root and remember the password. Then it will ask you to this about Windows service, and then it will ask you to want to create sample database. It will show you sample database. You can select the world sample database and you can create it. Then it will go for the apply configuration. You click on apply. It will set up the configuration. It will complete the configuration and your database is created, right? Your MySQL is installed and it is configured. Now, after doing this, what you do, you go to the services.msc, services. If it is Windows machine, go to the services, or if it is Linux machine, you can check your process ID or the services if MySQL is running or not, right? In this Windows machine services, go to MySQL 92. You'll find something called MySQL 92. You see it will be running. If it is not running, start it. You click here on this button, this start service. If you see, it will be displaying you on the screen. Start screen, click on this, it will start the service. It will start the service automatically. When you start the machine, if it is automatically configured, if you configure it manually, you have to start before executing your program. So better you configure it manually. We configure it manually, go to properties, you select it manual, and configure it manually because it don't need always, and why you want to unnecessarily run one service always. It might make a system slow, right? So make it manual. Whenever you need MySQL 92, you can always start it. This is how you will be able to install MySQL. Once you have installed MySQL, then go to the same bin folder. In same bin folder, in the window folder, Window Explorer, you just write CMD. I have told it in my previous videos. Today also I'm telling, just type in that Windows Explorer CMD and then click on enter. It will give you the console directly, right? So if you have MySQL Workbench, you can connect to your database using MySQL Workbench. For me, MySQL Workbench is not working. I'm not sure why. So I will go through the command print, and you also can go through this. What you have to do, you have to go in the bin folder. You open the command prompt or console, and then type MySQL. Type MySQL, then give hyphen user, that is root. Whatever the user of you have created another user, you can give that user. Then hyphen p is password. It will ask for the password. Click enter. it will ask you the password. So whatever password you are given, give that password and then enter. So now see, you are connected to MySQL as a root user. So if you don't know, like you want to see how many databases are there, you can just type, note out this command. These are basic commands. So databases. Select show databases, then semicolon and enter. It will show you all the databases. If you are going from MySQL Workbench, you don't need all this command. You will have a UI editor. You will be able to see it. So see here, I have created a database called sample DB. So I will connect to that DB and I'll perform all action from that DB. So connecting to that sample DB, you can say connect sample sample DB. And if you need any help in the command, you can always type into Google, MySQL, MySQL commands to create DB, create table. You can always type; it will show you. All SQL queries they follow ANSI standards. They have a structured query language. They follow some standard. So this most of the queries they work in most of the databases. You see what I did, connect sample DB, connection ID is 27, current database is sample DB. So I am already logged into sample DB database. Now here I have created a table called person. So let's see, select star from person. If you see select star from person, so this is a table where I have ID, that is my then first name, last name, middle name, age, gender, right? So first ID is mine, that is my ID, and my my first name Satyananda, last name Sahu, middle name there is nothing, age 44, gender male. Then the next ID is my wife's, that is first name Madhusmita, last name Sahu, middle name there is nothing, age 40 or 41, gender female, right? So this is how I have just inserted two records. What we will do, we'll write some Java code to, you know, to do some operation on this particular table. And this table data types I will just show you. DAC describe. See, if you write DESC person semicolon, DESC is basically describe person. So it will describe or it will show you the definition of the person table. See, field ID is varchar 255. Varchar 2 I think is not supported by MySQL because when it's earlier it was not supported. Varchar 2 is only supported in your Oracle DB. You have ID, varchar, null, no, key, primary. No, ID is primary key. It cannot be null. Then first name, last name, middle name, age, gender, they are not attached to any key or any key definition is not given to them. They can be null. Right? So this is a description of table. If you are seeing it on my screen, the description of the table. Now, what we will do, since by this time, if you have watched my video one after the other, you might have got a good experience in Java concepts and programming, writing programming in Java. So what we will do, we'll write a program which is currently no one is using it, but to clear your doubt, to make your fundamental strong or basic strong, I will go with JDBC, that is Java JDBC, which is no company uses now because using Java JDBC is really tough and you have to manage a lot of things manually or by writing code. So people what they do when they talk to database, most of the framework they use like Hibernate. Now most of them are using Hibernate, right? Earlier, what people used to do, when I started coding with this JDBC only in my 2006. I was working with one of the application with JDBC. Then after that, I started working with, something called iBetis. That iBetis, again, it connects to the database using named queries. After iBetis, this guy came. What is Hibernate? And Hibernate, it has XML configuration at that time. We used to have .hbm file. And later, you know what happened? This um, Hibernate, they started using annotation. So no need of HBM file. You can do using annotation also. So this is how the short brief how JDBC got removed, then how IBTs got removed from the market, and how this guy Hibernate made a picture. In between that, there is something called JDBC template used by introduced by Spring framework. but still then JDBC template was not able to hit that much into the market by the architect or developer who designs the application. They have not considered JDBC template as that much of helpful. Rather, Hibernate was very helpful, and so and it is always help developer as well as to uh, do all kind of operations with database. For that reason, what I will do, I'll show you the basic. When Java started, how people used to talk to database using Java program. That is, they use Java JDBCs, right? So Java SQL connection, SQL package. So see, all Java SQL package I've taken it here in. If you see the import statement, so we'll go through that. What actually how it happens. See, whenever you are going to talk to database, first you have to create a connection with the database. To create a connection, you have to write few codes which will help you to create a connection. So here, what actually I have done, I have written how to create a connection to database, and then after creating the connection, then we can write queries. Same select queries, insert queries, update queries in database statement or prepared statement or callable statement, and then we can execute that statement to perform the operation on the table. So here, whenever we are doing this operation, we need a third party or we need a driver. That driver is basically which help us to talk to database, and that driver is always given by the vendor. If it is Oracle database, you will have Oracle.jdbc dot that driver, Oracle driver. Oracle JDBC, the Oracle.jdbc dot Oracle driver. If it is MySQL, you will have com.mysql.jdbc dot driver. For Postgres also you have similar driver. For H2 also, H2 database also you have similar kind of driver. So try that why we need that driver, because that driver enable Java application or Java APIs to get connected to you know uh, the database. So you can say the driver is kind of a stub which help us to get connected to the database. So here you see, if you see line number 19, class dot phone name, right? This class dot phone name, what it is doing? See, I just put my mouse there so that you can get better information rather me talking. You can always go and read all this documentation of Java, right? See, what does this dot does class dot phone name returns the class object associated with the class or interface with the given string name. Whatever the string name we're passing, right? Com.dot, MySQL dot, JDBC dot driver, it is basically class name. And that class actually help us to get connected to the database. So what it does, it basically it will return that particular class object. So what it does, invoking this method is equivalent to snippet, class name, this phone name, where it is. For example, the following code fragment returns the class object for the class named. That particular class name, whatever you given, it will return that class, right? Object. So what actually, let's not talk about what actually inside we have that, but this will give the class object, right? So once you create the class.phone name, then you have to create a driver manager. This is the driver manager. Without registering the driver, you can't you can't go and create driver manager. So first you have to register the driver. How you register the driver? You register the driver using class.phone name. So when you do class.phone name, basically what it does, create an instance of that Oracle mycom.mysql.jdbc.driver, and it keep it in the registry. And then when we go and do driver manager.get connection, it basically uses the driver along with the attribute which you are passing in the get connection method for the driver manager. See what it does. I am passing what attribute in line number 20. I am passing JDBC MySQL / localhost 3306. Right? What is this localhost 3306? This is I have so if you have I have shown you. Let me show you once more that screen. When you go with the MySQL configurator, you come across this screen. You might be seeing my screen now. While you might be watching my video, right? Or anyway, you are watching my video. I should not say that. So see, while you are running the configurator, you will come to like this config development type. You know what type of config you want to. Always select development computer. Don't select any other because you are a developer. You just want to do some practice in your own laptop. So it is always best to select a development computer because it's not a dedicated server, right? So don't create a server. Don't make it as a server computer or something else. Keep it as development computer while installing. So here you will see this port number, right? So this is the port number which I am taking from this area, and there is another called X protocol port. This. So you should remember this port number while installing. While installing, you should remember this port number, and by default port number for MySQL is 3306. So when you don't remember, by mistake you have done nest, there is no issue. You can always use 3306. In some mission, what happen if this port number is occupied, it will have a different port number. So let's go to the Java back. Now here you see this 3306 is the port number of that particular MySQL database. MySQL database is installed in this machine, so I can use localhost. You can also use 127.0.0.1, that is loopback IP address. Also, you can use, if you have configured any IP address into your system, you can use that IP address, or you can also use computer name. Then here are the port number, and after that you have to give the database name. What are the database you have created in MySQL? So before running this program, you should have already created, or you might have already created. You must create. If you have not created, you must create a database and put the database name here. Then root is basically the user through which you're going to use to access that particular database, and the password. If you have created any other user, you can put that. And password is the password which you use to log in. When I logged into this console and MySQL database, MySQL command prompt, when I came to this front, what I gave initially. If you see initially as given MySQL -u root -p. Root is the user, then -p is the password. So whatever password I've given here is the same password. You have to put it here, right? So this password is basically a string which I am taking here. This password is a string, and this I have defined here the password, right? So you can directly put your password here like this in string also. Whatever password you have, you can directly put the password here like this. No issue, right? You can directly put. But I used as a string here. What I did, I send my password to a variable, and I'm using that as a variable. So once you get this connection, then only you can proceed further, right? Then only you can proceed further and write your SQL statements, and you'll be able to execute the operation. Let's do that now, right? See, I have written this a public static void main method, right? What I will do, I'll just comment this thing. Right? I commented this. I'll just open this get connection. Now this get connection is the method where I have written to get the connection. That is, I'm registering the driver. I'm registering here I'm doing the registration of the driver, and then I'm using driver manager to get the connection. After getting the connection, then only we will be able to perform. So let me run it now here. I've done it in same class, everything, because just to show you how we used to do in 2006 and how people are doing in after 20 after 2010 or around 29, 20, around 2007, 8 also Hibernate started, because I remember I started using Hibernate fast in 2000. There are many applications which I worked in 2006 and 7, that is using IBTs and JDBC. In 2007 and 2008 starting, I started using Hibernate. And still today Hibernate is there in market, and people are still using Hibernate, right? Along with Spring framework. So slowly we'll go in depth, not in depth in Hibernate how to do all this thing, but I will show you some basic CURD operation, right? Create, retrieve, update, delete. Basically, these are the CURD operation which I will show you. See, now we are able to get the connection. Sometimes you may not get the connection. The reason behind that I'll show here. What will happen now? This service is stopped. This service I'm stopping it intentionally to show you what actually happens if your service is stopped. See, MySQL 92
I'm
services.
not quite sure how to help you with that.
See, MySQL 92 services stopped, right? Now, what you do, you go and run this program. You see what result you are getting it. See, connection diffused. If you get the, if you see this connection diffused, then you should be sure, or you should get sure. You should go and check if the service is started, or if you have given the port number properly, right? If the port number and the machine name is not proper, and your database name is not proper, then you will get connection refused. If your what else? The service is not started, then you will get connection refused. I start the service here. No, I start the service here. You see, this service started. And one more thing to alert you sometime, my Amazon uh, Alexa, she will talk something. I don't know why. Ignore it.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
See, I just called the name. She started taking. I'm not sure. So just ignore that voice. We'll continue with our thing. Now the service I started. Service got started. Let me run it. See, connection established, right? Now I'll just remove this sample DB with something SAM, right? Like this, right? And I will run it. There is no DB like that, right? So see what it will give, what error it will give. The unknown database SAM, right? So if you are getting unknown database connection diffused, all this kind of error, you should be a little bit, cross verify your configuration settings, and then you will get right, the right way. Now we are able to create the connection. That means my Java program is able to connect to database. If your Java program is able to connect to database, then you go next. Then you go next for creating your statement. See, in Java, you have different approach to create the statement, right? One is using prepared statement. One is using statement. Here this insert query I have not written. I've kept it for you so that see there is something called Java.SQL statement. Using SQL state Java.SQL statement you can create, but SQL statement will allow you to perform very simple operation, right? So always go with prepared statement. It will allow you to perform complex operation. And if you have some store procedure to execute, trigger to execute, then always you can go with callable statement. So I will just go with prepared statement. And if you receive, if you are seriously interested to know callable statement and all other stuff, message me, comment me, or call me or mail me. We will discuss. I will help you out. So statement I'm not used. Most of the places we use prepared statement. When I was also working, I worked with this long time back. That time I also used with prepared statement. So prepared statement is the best way to go and do it, right? So I have not written this save method, but I have written this update method to check whatever I am executing is working or not. Whatever the connection I created, whatever things I did. So to test that, I have checked this uh, update method. See, I will just show you update method and then we'll write the insert method. So I'm changing this age and I'm saying update person set age ID where ID equal to 177 this. I'm changing the age of my wife. She's how it works. So what I will do, main method also I have to go and remove this. So I have to call that update method and run it. So let's see what is the data is there we have. See, if you see, it is 40, right? Age is 40. So I'm just updating it as 41, right? I'm just increasing it to 1. So let me run it. Connection established, record updated, right? So why twice? Because it's get connection. I have to comment it out in line number 75. I commented. Let's go to the database and see it. select start from person. See, the age
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
got updated. Let me switch up it. Yeah. So the connection got updated, right? Sorry, connection. The age got updated. I switched up Alexa, so she is not going to disturb anymore. Main JDBC update. See, record updated. We have already checked. What I will do, I will again go and I will show you one more thing here. See, we have written directly the SQL query here, right? I have written directly the SQL query here. So rather writing directly the SQL query there, we can use, set. We can use set. How you will use, right? So here, something like this, you give question mark, right? And then here you give question mark. In trying it after a long time, I don't know if it is going to throw out or what. So here, age first one is age, right? The index first one is age. How much I'll give here? I'll give, now we updated to 41, so I'll give it 40. And then substring this statement, I'll give it ID, right? That ID, I'll put it here. Let me get that ID first. So I'll put that ID here. See, this is what you should do. And then let me go and show you in the database. See, here I'm doing select start from person again. So you have see the age is 41 and the ID is 40. Let me run this program again. Thank you. It got executed. Let's see if it has updated. Yes, it has updated, right? So this is how the JDBC statement works. You know, so I will explain now this update. Then I will go and create write the connection for you again. In insert one. So see here connection get connection. This is I'm calling the stop method. What of the method I have here, right? The get connection method. Line number 11 to line number 28. This get connection method is going to return me the connection object, right? This connect here this method is going to only create a connection for me specifically, because if I write this piece of code in all the method like insert, update, delete, retrieve, if I write in all the method, it is really going to trouble for me, right? So rather doing that, what I did, I have created a method called get connection and added the connection configuration there. Now coming back to the update method, coming back to the update method, see, we are getting the connection object in line number 47, in line number 48, SQL. That is, I'm constructing the SQL query, right? In line number 47, construct the SQL query. See, the advantage of prepared statement here, the advantage of prepared statement is the question mark thing which I did, you can do that. And it will, what it does, it actually takes parameter from the method, and the parameter value can be dynamic always, right? The parameter value can be dynamic. In update I can pass the object, and then I can uh, set the string or integer, whatever it is, using this set string or set it value, right? I can do that. So this is how you this is how we work, and how this question mark it has identified. See, the first question mark is first index, second question mark is second index. So I will reverse it. See, I'll just reverse it, make it 2 and 1. See what it happens. I'm giving the age in place of where age equal to 17447, that is I'm giving, and ID is 40. So what will happen? Just see what actually happened. No update happened, right? Same 40. See, here I have not properly handled it. That's why it is giving record updated. So here what happened, this execute update is going to return you integer value, right? So what you need to do, if you want to check if it is updated or not, integer update value, so you write your update value equal to like this. right? Your update value, right? So it will give you the value something called 0 or something for that if it is successfully or something went. See, you got 0. Now let reverse it now, right? Let make it 1 and 2 initially how it was. What will get, you might get a value called 1 because it successfully executed the. See, you got 1. So what you can do, you can have like this: if update value equal to 1, then so system record update value, right? Yes. So circuit that failed. So you can, now if you run it, you will get the right value. Now let's say make it 41, right? Let's make say 41 because we already have it 40. We already have it 40. So let's make it 41. Updated. Let's go and check. It is 41. Now what we will do? We'll reverse it. Or what we'll do, we'll make it 40. And I will add one more at the end, 0. Let's say 1990. Now I will run it. That ID is not present, right? So I'll run it. Rocket record update failed, right? See, so this is how earlier we used to handle. If the update is successfully, a record is successfully updated or inserted, we will send a message, saying successfully inserted or failed. So this is how we program started when we started working in real world. It's not only this. There are so much other configuration also we used to do when we write program. I'm just showing you some sample. It's not that way, right? So it depends on who, how you are going to write your program, how you're going to make it better, right? So this is how it works for JDBC. Now I will insert one record for you, right? So here see in save method, I will insert one record. Insert into table name, you give the person, right? So column one, what is that? Column one is ID, right? Then last name, right? Then middle, sorry, last name, then middle name, then age, and gender, right? These are the description what we have, right? Go to description. Yes, ID, first name, last name, middle name, age, gender. Gender G. I don't know if it is case sensitive, so always be careful. So gender is small there. So let me put here G, right? And the values. How many values? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 6 values. So yeah. So I will have here more 3 question mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I'll have 6 question marks here. So ID, first name, ID is capital, I is capital, D, yes, I is capital, right? Yes, I is capital, F is capital. This, so it's been long time, so I'm not used, so I'm just want to keep the case sensitive everything from me so that I will give the exact table name and I will use it, right? So one is ID. So let's copy this ID from the update. This ID is not there. We will insert this ID, right? Then is first name. Let first name I will install. First name I'll give ABC, right? And last name I'll give XYZ. XY. Yeah. That is string again, not integer, right? And then what I'll give, I'll have middle name, PQR, PQ. Then what I will do, then I will have H, right? That is, see this index you have to remember, we give it properly. 4, then 5 is H. H is basically int. Right? So here what I'll give, here I'll give let's say as I'll give this is a young guy, new joining fresher. Let's say I'll keep his age as 23. Then what I will do, set, what else is there? String, right? Another one is 6, that is gender. Say, let's say male, right? And one more will insert for female also after this. Okay. Now, similarly, what we are doing here, execute update, right? So similarly, for our confirmation, we can have this same if condition and check, right? We can have this thing similarly here for the check. If it is successfully inserted or not. Right? This is how it is. Now, what we will do here, we will not call update, we will call set. Record updated. Let's go. See, select star from person. See, we have another record got updated. Now we'll send, we'll update for a female now, right? Shall make it 89 ABCD XY WXYZ PQRS, right? And let's say H maybe around 30, right? And then there is female. Maybe see record updated, right? Let's go and check it here. See, we have one more record here. ABCD WXYZ PQRS 30 female, right? So this is how it is, right? Now what I will do, I want to delete, or I want to add something else, right? Let update the ABCD record. Let's update the ABCD record. Set as, and here what we will do. Let's make it age as 32, right? 89, right? So here we'll call the update again, right? Rather call it save. See, I might be going a little fast. I will put all this code in GitHub. You all can check it. Record updated. Let's go. Here, let's have a person. See, as became 32. Now this is what simple insert and save using JDBC. Using JDBC you can do that. Now what I will do, I will go how you can convert, how Hibernate is done and how Hibernate works. Let's go and talk about that. See, any framework you use, you need to first register your driver, then you need to get a connection, and then using that connection, you need to write queries and execute that queries in database, right? So this is how it works. Now let me close this JDBC program. We'll talk about Hibernate, right? So see, for Hibernate is a framework which internally connects, uses JDBC kind of API to connect to database, right? Internally uses JDBC kind of API to connect to database. So what I have done in this, I have not used HBM file because HBM file is the old way of writing or creating, connection, and along with that, creating your queries or mapping your table with the uh, database. So that is not done nowadays. Nowadays, most of the from Hibernate 3 point something or from Hibernate 4 or Hibernate 4 onwards, it started using annotation. And what API I have taken it is Hibernate 6, and let's go and see that, right? You see, when you are writing a Hibernate program, first you need to have a class which will create the connection between the Java and database, right? We should have a connectivity. Using that only we can perform the operation. Today, in this session, I will show you how it works, and coming session, I will explain what all these are actually. What is session factory? What is Hibernate session? What is configuration? All this detail will go a little bit in detail. So I've created, if you see this Java XML, that same yesterday's or the previous sessions, project I'm using here. If you see this Hibernate com.example utils, and then I've created a class called Hibernate util.java. And if I go to this Hibernate util.java, right? So see here, we need not require to write a driver manager, get connection, all this. We need not require to. We need not require to write class.phone name, driver manager dot get connection. We need not require to worry about that at all. We just need to set our properties. In this particular file, in this particular session, whatever Hibernate I will show, all these are configured inside the class only using Java properties. But what actually need to be done, this needs to be configured in XML file or properties file, and this need to be read from there. Even if when I was working in long time back with JDBC, there also we had properties file, and we had all this configuration of database information in the properties file. See, the reason behind that, you compile the jar file, once you compile and create a jar file, you cannot go and modify the database name, you cannot go and modify the username and password. That is a biggest problem, right? For big to come out of that problem, to come out of that problem, what we need to do, we need to segregate this. We need to have it in a properties file, which is, which can be modified whenever it is required. And the application, the Java application or the jar, whenever it is executed or whenever it is running, it should look for that properties file and read the values from that properties file. So what will happen? You can change the database name, database configuration, or so the server name, server configuration, randomly during runtime. So that is the reason we do. But for showing you, as in the beginning, I kept it here. It will make the life easier. And what will happen next time? Next session, when we go in deep, I will just move it to the properties file or XML file, and I will show you how it actually works. Right? These are based on experience. The person those who worked in old days, right, when Google was not that efficient, and when you have to read books and do. So that time to till date, if you have the experience, you will have a lot of things in your mind to tell. That's why if I keep talking about JDBC, I will talk a lot. That which I have done in my past experience again from IBTs for also Hibernate. But these are the basic session. You all should know how to use the framework. So we will not go in depth. We will not go any other topic. We will just focus on what CRUD operation or CURD CURD, crude or CURD, right? So we'll focus on this operation, right? That means creating, inserting into database, creating a record, retrieving a record, updating a record, deleting a record, right? So main JDBC also I had all this operation, but I have shown you all your update and insert. Here we will see all the operation in Hibernate, create, retrieve, update, delete. Now here, coming to this code, this Hibernate util class. What exactly this class does? This class create a session factory. What is the session factory? I will explain it in detail. Just for time being, to finish or to show you how it works today in this session. Just listen it, understand it, how the programs works. See the way we created class.phoname, we registered the driver. The way we created a connection here. Similarly, session factory, will give us the session. By using that session, we will connect to database, and we will update our record, or we will retrieve a record, or we will insert the record, or we will perform that kind of operation, right? So base here, actually the code starts from, the actual code starts from line number 22. If you're watching my screen, not only listening and watching my screen, if you're only listening, then just watch my screen. The configuration CFG, new configuration, properties, props. I created a property prop and properties, right? Here what I'm doing, I'm setting all the properties. Properties is basically a Java class, Java util package class, where you can set all the properties of in a key value form, right? In a key value form, key will be the used to access that particular value. So what we have done here, Hibernate configuration, it has some keys, and you need to set that value for that keys. Then only it will be able to connect. That kind of these are kind of configurations for the Hibernate to talk to database. So the first configuration is your URL. So here we need not require to write class.phoname. Hibernate will take care of it, but we have to define the URL, the connection URL, right? Which we did in driver manager.get connection. So that same URL you can keep and you can get and paste it here, right? The same URL you get and paste it here. Then we'll go for environment.driver, and in environment.driver we just give the driver name. In some cases driver name is not required because nowadays it is inbuilt with Hibernate. In some cases it is not required. Even if you don't give also, in some cases it will work. So line number 27, if you see environment.user, here we have root, right? Here we have root, that is the username. That is the username. See this environment, whatever I'm setting it here, right? This environment is again from Hibernate only configuration. It's not from Java, right? So they already have the keys. That's why this Hibernate environment class is a kind of constant class which holds all the key, and we need to set the variable there. User is basically root, then environment.pass is password. This show SQL, format SQL, HBMDDL auto, this I will explain later. Show SQL, why you have given there, what is format SQL, HBMDDL auto, I will explain later. So forget about that now. Don't look into that now. These are the basic what this still line number 22 is the basic what we had, right? These are till the basic that we had. Now CFG dot set properties is props. What we're doing, this configuration object which we created earlier, right? New configuration, we are trying to set properties. That properties, whatever we have set here, we are passing the properties variable to set properties. Internally it will set all the properties. And after that, what I did, I said CFG add annotated class. So see here in Hibernate, we will explain little later. Here in Hibernate, plain old Java class, a one Java class which is I told in my previous session or in my previous session Java beans, right? Or value object or DTO, data transfer object, right? These are the plain Java class which will have attributes of a table. Let's say I have a table called person. Just now I have shown you, right, in MySQL. That person table I will create a class. If you see in my screen, I will create a class person, and that person is mapped to the table called person, and whatever attribute I have in that particular table, that same attribute I have here in this particular class, right? So this person represent that table. So this is how this Hibernate is called ORM, object relational mapping. These are ORM tools or APIs, object relational mapping. That means you can map an object to table, database table. Right? So here this is called person. Right? This person is mapped to table person. Later we will discuss about all little in this particular person class. Let's go back to the Hibernate class. So here I'm annotating that class. Basically, I'm trying to register in configuration that this is the class which you need to map to the table, for doing some kind of operation, like insert CRUD operation, right? CRUD operation or CURD operation, right? So CURD is basically, what is that? CURD is made out of milk, right? Anyway, दही बोलते हैं ना, दैट इज दही। इन हिंदी दही बोलते हैं, उड़िया में भी दही बोलते हैं। उड़िया दही को, इन हिंदी दही, राइट? सो कर्ड इज योर eating item, but don't think about that card. Your card is create, update, retrieve, fill it, or you talk CRUD, CRUD, create, retrieve, update, fill it, whatever it is, right? So see, after setting this all properties and the classes to the configuration file, right? We create configuration.build session factory using that configuration object. So using that configuration object to do build session factory. So it's a factory class which will give you the instance of session factory. And using that session factory, will upon the session and will use it. See below that I have another method in line number 41, get session. So factory dot upon session, right? So factory dot upon session, I am returning it. It is giving me session. This line also can be written here itself. In line number 438, you can write factory dot upon session also, right? So it is, I have written it is like that only. So you can use it either way. And now, after writing all these, just have a main method to check if your get session, is getting connected or not. I have written your main method to check that. So you run it, you will see if it is getting connected or not. So see here, if you see all this, right? This is connection obtained from JDBC connection access, right? Internally, it is saying connection obtained from JDBC connection access. These are the logs, generated by the Hibernate API. So Hibernate internally use loggers to generate API these logs. If you are not using any logger configuration, it will generate log into the console, and this kind of message you will see. So what is logger? How to use logger configuration? That also will see. If possible in this session. If not, coming session you will see. Right? So JDBC connection access. Connection obtained from JDBC connection access. That means it is able to get connected to database. Right? So let's go to the next person class, right? As I said, this person class is representing the person table in database, right? This person class is representing person table in the database. Now, if you see all these are defined, same middle name, first name, age, gender, everything are defined. So see in the top of the class, I have written @entity. Now if I write @entity, that means this is the entity class which is getting mapped to the table. If your entity name, that is class person, the name is same as the table name, then no need of writing at the table, it will work, right? But still then what I did, I added at the table name person. Let's say your person table name is something person underscore description, something like it. Person table name is. So you have to write at the entity, then name equal to person underscore description. This will tell the Hibernate person entity is mapped to person description table, right? So that's how you can do it. Otherwise, you can remove it. It's not recording this Hibernate 6. Let's go. See, who I just created a constructor, for my benefit, so that while creating or inserting table, inserting record to database, while creating the person of the directly, I'll pass all this attribute here. That is the reason I created a constructor. Even if you don't create constructor, you can use setter getter to set the person object and send this person object to where database. See the difference you might have seen here when we are using JDBC, right? We have written the query and we are setting manually, right? We have written the query and we are setting it manually, right? So we have written the query and we are setting it manually. Here we are not going to write query for insert. If you write persist, it will persist. It will save the record in the database, right? So let's go to the uh, one interface here I have created, right? These are called data access object. You know, in technical jargon or technical term, the database or the class which actually insert or which actually performs CRUD operation to the database, right? Which actually performs CRUD operation to the database, that is called as DAO, data access object, right? So here you can use that. Here you can use that person DO class. Here I've created a I person DO. In Java always we say go for interface way of implementation. So in going for interface way of implementation, I have this method save, retrieve all, get person by ID, get person by param, update. These are the methods which got implemented in this person DO. So first what we will do, we will try to insert a record using this. Let me first show you how this save method is written and what is the difference there and here. See, directly you pass the person object to the same method in line number 18. If you're seeing my screen, directly you pass the person object. Session, get session. You basically getting that session, right? That session object. So session dot begin transaction. Session dot persist. So here we did what we are trying to say. Hibernate begin the transaction now. Another transaction is started. It will have read write log, right? So this you have a read write log in DBMS. If you might have read DBMS, you will be knowing about it. We will discuss in coming session. Today I'm just showing you how you persist a object. Right? Session dot persist is basically your person, right? Persist the person object. Then session dot get transaction dot commit. What we are doing, we are trying to commit that transaction, right? Now I'll go to the main Hibernate class. Here I've written one class. I'll just uncomment this guy, person. I will just uncomment this guy. Here I will make one more 109, right? And here I'll give some name. Let's say QWERTY. Right? I'll give here, let's say some random number ASDF, keyword sequence. Last name, middle name I'll give POI, or middle name I'll give something EY, right? And I'll make age maybe something around 31. So no, let's make something around 37. Right? Let it female or something like that. So now in line number 25, you see I'm calling int a person dot say. I'm running it, right? And run it this code. Some error is there where, let's see where this error is there here. Okay, here in below it the error is there. Let me comment out this code. This code is for update. So now I'm running it. Before that, let me show you the SQL here. Let's start from person. See, we have 4 records, right? I'm just going to run another record here. See, it is running, right? This show SQL, whatever I in configuration is correct, this will show this what query it executed. See, I have not nowhere I've written insert query, right? Insert into person, but it executed that query. And if you see database, let's start from person. Yes, purity is there, right? PUWRT, ASDF, UI, 37 female, right? It is there, right? Insert query got executed. Now, if I do stop that SQL query, right? See what will happen. If I make it show SQL false, it will not show any SQL. Now we'll go for update. We'll update that edge. We'll update that edge. We'll comment it now. %do. See here the commented code are there only to show you, so many things. Now let me take this ID and go to this guy. Right here, this is how person set is. So my person is enabled. Okay, so I have to uncomment this line number 23% DO. So here I will put the ID which you just created, right? 109, and that ID I'll change the at 37 to 36. Right, I'll change the at 37 to 36. Now I'm running it. I have what I did. I made a SQL false. See, the program got executed. Let's go there and run the query. See, the age 109 became 36, right? Now I'll go and make SQL true and update it. You know what I did? I made in Hibernate util, if you have seen, I made it true, right? Let me go and again run that query, changing the age to 37. You see in the console there will be query, there will be SQL. See, you got the query, update person said this, right? The query is there, right? Now let's go check the age. You see, this is the age. Age got updated 109, right? Age got updated 109. So this is how this has so many configurations. What I will do, I will show you one after the other slowly. Uh, and if you have any questions, if you have any question, just let me know, right? If you have any question, any concern, anything in a JDBC or maybe in Hibernate configuration, let me know. One second, I got a message. Nothing. This is how, right? This is how it is. Now, what do you okay, so I just done this thing, select start from person and select start from person, 23, 37, 44. All this you got. This is how you get, have an when this is how, update operation happens. And we will see select, we will see retrieve. Let me show you the select one and then we will go for the other in coming session. See here, I'm just passing 909 ID. I'm trying to get person by person ID, right? I'm trying to retrieve person by person ID. See, I will explain all this in the coming session in detail. And just you see the output. Okay. Comment of this code, it is error there. The same person object I'm using. See, if you see this output, the query is also there. And if you see, it gave this ID and my wife name, first name, my wife's first name, last name, middle name, and all details. Now let me go and retrieve all the record. There is another method which will retrieve all the record. I'll comment this particular line number 33 and 34, and this I will uncomment. This one, it will give you list of give retrieve all the record from the database. Let me run this. See, here we have all the record, my wife's record, and the new record which we added. I will end this session here. Today I don't have power. I would otherwise I would have I would have explained more. Power went off and my battery is low. It will continue it tomorrow or next session from where I left. It will actually take more hours. 1 hour it is not possible to use to say how to connect to Java. Now CRUD crude or cud, no, dahi, right? Kannada mein kya, in Kannada what you say? In Kannada something they called I masuru or something, right? Masuru I, know, yeah, Masuru or something they called in Kannada. There are so many different language in this country, right? In this country, India, there are different languages in India. So many people they cut in different language. But nowadays, almost anywhere you go, no one will ask. When if you go to different places, cities, metro cities, no one will ask in their local language. They will say, "Can you give me a packet of curd?" Right? So curd is basically not here dahi or mashuru. It is basically what it is: create, update, retrieve, delete. If I tell CURD, it means that. If I tell CRUD, it means that only. Create, retrieve, update, and delete. You know, dahi in India, in Hindi they say dahi. In Odia, in my mother tongue, we call dahi, and in Kannada, mosuru. I may not be able to pronounce it properly, but that's how. Anyway, so I am keeping my session here. Thank you, everyone. Well, in next session, I will go in depth. Okay, let me stop my cell first. See you in next session.